This is classic math problem, but his solution is surprising. Newton used pure math to calculate all in night. But the smartest solution is from math, but from optical physics. The problem is this. Suppose you want a small ball from point A to point which route will take the least time. This sounds pretty simple. The shortest straight line. But if you the slope into curve, then ball will get more acceleration stage. Then he will run faster. Although the journey will little longer, but overall time. So the question came, is there a line that can perfectly balance the acceleration and the length? In other words, this line is the shortest. In fact, this question was by Galileo. He guessed that this curve should be round lake, but later proved that he was wrong. The real reason for this question is Johann Bernoulli. In 1696, Bernoulli and I to his brother John emphasized in that he already knew answer. But he didn't reveal being fact. The main purpose was to show off how good was. Because that time, academic circle was very popular to challenge publicly to improve his reputation. But the question was, no one answered. For John's friend Leibniz advised him to give foreigners a chance. And Bernoulli really wanted to Newton. Newton was already 53 years old, didn't do much research. But this question is really too tempting. So he spent a day and a night to figure out solution. The next morning, he figured out, and Bernoulli, he spent 2 weeks. Newton sent his solution in an anonymous way to the magazine. He wrote in, "I don't like to urge or laughed at it that Bernoulli saw the newspaper. He recognized it. This is Newton's solution. He said, I can recognize that lion." Newton solved the tools. He first assumed that this curve was of a function and used the energy horizontal to push out. That at a certain height, and finally calculated the entire process. So his work was to solve equation. And Bond's efforts comes from a very ancient problem. How does spread? In the same ring, light always along the shortest path. But when the light enters another ring, it will be reflected, and the is not the shortest path. For centuries, people have used the Senior law to describe it. But no one knows why light has to go away. Until 1657, Pierre Fermat gave his answer. He believes that the path is necessarily the shortest. But the shortest. He spent 5 years to study it and finally proved that the Senior law is actually the. We'll get a curve this. This is the nature has for. After calculating, I tried recognize the after. Isn't this a linear equation? Simply put, if you a pencil on the edge of, and let the circle move along the straight line, when the goes around, the is the line. This line has 2 amazing features. It is slide down. And no you start from this curve, the take slide to bottom is the same. So he's only a speedy line, but also a waiting line. By 1697, the problem solved. Bernoulli also his answer. He proudly explained that my method solved the 2 fields at one is optical and the other is theoretical. But later his letter that Newton's solution is indeed high quality and that the 2 are slightly clumsy. But in last sentence, I don't know if he is mocking himself or calling his brother. Newton's method is straightforward and short-term. But Bond's idea crosses the boundary of and uses physical intuition to solve mathematical problems. And this idea ignited a series of scientific discoveries. Perhaps this be the most fascinating part when different subjects meet on an unknown issue. And then we be discovering a whole new world. Arr!